What's going on, guys? Got another quick little video for you today, and today we're going to be covering food plots. So we're in a spot here that was mostly reed canary grass and some stickers, and nothing really valuable for deer as far as food or bedding goes. And I got in a little bit of a time crunch and just came in here with some glyphosate and sprayed it all. We had a good burn down, but I was in a bit of a time crunch, so I came in here and broadcasted seed on top of my burn down roughly 3 days later. And we've got some stuff coming up. We've got quite a bit of buckwheat. We've got some sunflowers coming in there, and they just took a long time to start sprouting. A lot of it was because the vegetation was so thick. So we're at probably week 3 right now, post spray and plant 2 to 3 days later. Originally I thought this was unsuccessful, but we have quite a bit of buckwheat coming up. There is some sunflowers poking up at places. I see a few spots where my sorghum is coming up, and I really don't see I don't see any of my beans coming up. So I broadcasted my seed right before a pretty heavy rain event. If I do this again, this was kind of a bit of an experiment, but if I do this again, I'm definitely gonna do some sort of dirt work before. I just didn't have the time or the ability to get something in here to work the soil before I could plant, sadly. But we just hoping for the best right now. I've come to realize that if this food plot doesn't end up being a great summer and early fall plot, that doesn't really matter, because that's not really what I'm aiming for. It is, but that's not the end goal. I wanted to have forages coming up and have good high protein food for the summer while the deer were having their fawns and growing antlers and things of that nature. But my end goal anyway is to come in here in September when we get dry here. Sunflowers will lose their leaves, the bean plants will start losing their leaves, and I'm gonna spread radishes and turnips in here, and maybe a little winter wheat. And that usually does pretty well being broadcasted into another plant like that. So really, if the food plot doesn't do great, other than the little bit of money I have into seed and the glyphosate, whatever crops I do end up having, and it looks like it is coming up fairly thick, is going to be a good nurse crop for my winter green blend that I have. This week is really going to be the telltale of how well our planting and seeding did. It's going to be in the 90s this week. We've had a fairly reasonable amount of rainfall here lately, more than generous amount. And now that all my seeds are sprouting or just now pushing out of the ground, this week will be a good size up to see how well it's doing. We did the same thing on another property that's an ag field that has roughly 1/2 to 3/4 of an acre area that hasn't been planted in 2 to 3 years due to it being wet. So the farmer hasn't planted it, and it's grown up like this with a lot of reed canary grass and thistle, and there's some aspen starting. So we went through there and sprayed with our glyphosate, left the young aspen shoots alone because it's kind of made a really good screen. You can see our buckwheat is in different stages all over. Here we've got a fresh shoot, and there's one that's been up for a while, and there's one that's been up even longer. So originally what I thought was a fail might actually turn out to be a success. And even if this plot isn't as successful as I originally hoped, that's okay, because we still have plenty of time between now and end of September, depending on where you live here in Michigan. Depending on what you plant, if it's oats or winter wheat or buckwheat, or there's a lot of radishes and turnips that are winter hardy and will continue growing up until December till we really get a good freeze up. You have a lot of time to still have a nice plot. That's going to be what goes in here. This was really to turn this from undesirable to a good transition zone where deer can come down from bedding and grab a bite to eat without leaving the property. A lot of people might see this and consider this a loss, but I'm pretty pleasantly surprised, because a week ago when I came out here, I really didn't see anything sprouting. And the longer I look around, the more sunflowers I end up seeing, which is really what I'm excited about. The buckwheat is going to be a good food source, but I'm really excited to see how these sunflowers do. I got a lot of inspiration from Bill Winke on planting sunflowers. If you haven't checked out his video on sunflowers, go ahead and do that. But essentially, sunflowers are a great high protein food source for deer. It has more protein than corn or beans. Make sure you guys stay tuned. Tomorrow we're gonna go check out another food plot that we put in, pretty similar to this. Like I said earlier, it's in an ag field. We did the same thing, but I think we have a little better result there. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you guys give it a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already. Comment down below any questions or input you have about said food plot. Thanks for watching.